So I'm hoping the rest of your experience in the summit will be wonderful. So myself and Francine are going to be talking a little bit about classroom etiquette and what you can expect as a student at UMass Lowell, both in person and if you have any virtual classes. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we will get started here. All right, so again, if you are new to the summit today, happy to have you here. My name is Allie McVicker. I am a OMA staff member. I've been at the university for about 7 years now. Really excited to work with you all as you adjust to campus and beyond. And I'll have Francine say hi and introduce herself too.
Hi, I'm Francine Costin. Also work in the Office of Multicultural Affairs, been with the university a little over 8 years now. Welcome again and great to see you all.
Great, thank you, Francine. So we do have a guest speaker, and Steph, I don't think she's here yet this morning, Sarah, so we can come back to her when she arrives, so just let me know when she comes in. And she is a librarian with us at UMass Lowell, and she has a lot of really great information to share with you. So we're going to come back to her when she joins us. So in terms of classrooms in the US, we think that this information is important for both domestic students and international students. So wherever you're coming from, most of you might be coming from a high school environment, coming into college. So just a couple tips to keep in mind as you start to adjust as a college student. So in the US, typically classrooms are pretty informal at the university level. We do tend to address a professor by the first name if they prefer it. And we do politely interrupt the professor to ask questions. So during the first day of classes, the professor will say, hello, I am, for example, Professor McVicker, but you can call me Allie, or I'm Professor McVicker, please call me Professor McVicker, or Dr. McVicker, because I can say that now, you know, all those sorts of things. So you want to make sure if you miss it and you don't know how to address them, just ask, okay? We, again, do politely interrupt, right? So they actually encourage discussion. We want you to speak up in class. Most classes in your syllabus that we will show you an example of today, which shows you all your assignments, when they're due, portions of your grade. And so in most classes, 5 to 10% of your class grade is discussion. So you do need to speak up. We know in other countries and other places, you do tend to sit in a lecture style, listen to the professor and kind of go on with your day. But in our classes, it's very interactive. So if you can, don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to challenge viewpoints respectfully of your fellow classmates and even of your professor. The professor actually enjoys that. It makes the class more fun, interactive, especially those early morning classes. The student-professor relationship, the professors are pretty approachable and they're willing to give you free time. We're going to talk about how all of our professors have open office hours. So this is just time during the day, maybe once or twice a week, that professors have, you know, an open door. You can either email them and go and ask about assignments coming up or projects or labs coming up. And it's completely free time that they have designated for you to come in and ask questions. So we do want you to take advantage of that, and we'll talk about an example of what that looks like. Professors like to make class fun, right? They usually do a lot of group projects in most colleges. They rely on your participation to enhance the class, right? Like I said, especially those early morning classes, you really want to try to stay awake and, you know, and have that discussion, get those points. So even if you're shy, I completely understand, but try your best, right? Think of it as a growing experience, practicing your language. You know, there's lots of ways to grow in classes like this. So please, if you can, speak up more. Any questions, put them in the chat and we will answer them at the end. Plagiarism. This is super important in the US. So the definition of plagiarism is using or closely imitating the language and thoughts of another author without authorization or citation. So in the US, we tend to not really memorize a lot of things. Sure, it is helpful, but we tend to read, you digest, and then you write your understanding of the readings in your own words. If you cite something, you want to make sure you put it at the end of the sentence in quotations. We will, in parentheses, we will make sure that you understand what that looks like. But if you do not, so say if you just copy and paste something from online, from a reading that you saw, and you don't cite, right, you don't put the author's last name and the year or the page number, you could get in trouble for that. And we want you to avoid that as much as possible. So again, students are expected to share their thoughts and with the professors and the classmates. So again, your takeaways from the readings, not what other authors have said. You can quote them directly, but just you have to make sure that you cite them. So you can't use their readings as your own. So again, cite, cite, cite. If you use a quote or work from other sources, just make sure you cite them to avoid plagiarism. No copying, pasting, right? Where did you get the readings from? Those authors deserve the credit, right? To make sure that, you know, okay, this is where I got the readings from. This is what they said, and I'm not sort of cheating here. The consequences of plagiarism. It's a really serious issue in the US, and it could even result in suspension or expulsion from the university. So again, really serious. If you have any questions, you can contact us at OMA. Francine and I are recent graduate students. Stephanie is a current graduate student. Our OMA ambassadors, Helena, is here with us this morning. We've all been in your shoes. We understand what plagiarism is and avoid it at all costs. I also put the academic integrity policy link here, and we'll make sure you get this information, but it's really important to try to avoid this as much as possible because the consequences are severe. So any questions, just let us know. And now I'm going to pass it over to Francine to talk about email etiquette.
Thank you, Dr. McVicker. So good morning again. Good morning again, everyone. I just want to talk about just some quick tips when it comes to sending out emails. First and foremost, if you all have been using like personal email addresses or your maybe an email address from your former high school or other schools and stuff like that, really get used to now utilizing and checking your student email address from UMass Lowell. And I'm going to be upfront and honest with you. And I know I have a few of my students on this Zoom call now. UMass Lowell, when it comes to email, we email a lot. And so we try not to inundate you with emails, but it's just the quickest and the easiest way to be able to get out information. So if I can just stress to you, utilize, check your UMass Lowell student email accounts regularly. And that's how your professors are going to be reaching out to you as well. And those are the emails that they will be looking for when you contact them. If you're sending it from a Gmail or some other mail service, they may miss it. It can go into their junk mail. Sometimes they may think that it might be spam. So really just utilize your student email address. And all of you should have been assigned your emails, have set it up. Obviously, if you're here today, you're getting emails, so you should be really good to go. So some quick tips about emails. And we found this cute little graphic here. When you're sending an email, really pay attention to like your subject line. What's the subject? Make sure that it's something that's going to catch the person's eyes to give them an idea of what it is that you're looking for as a response or request that's coming in the email. Make sure as you type up the email in the full body, go back and reread it, making sure that what you're putting in there is clear, that you're catching any type of spelling or grammatical errors, to be sure that, it looks, pretty decent as you're sending it out. If folks are emailing you, And you just want to make sure that you let them know, hey, I got your email, even if you can't respond to, or they need you to get more information from them. It's always really nice to just send a quick reply. Hey, I got your email, working on it. They'll be back to you soon. Be careful in using capital letters and sending things in all caps. In the email world, in the virtual world, doing emails in all caps is almost like shouting or yelling. So use them sparingly. Sometimes it's like, there's something that's really important and I want them to pay attention to this part of it. So use it sparingly, but not throughout the whole email. Try not to use acronyms as much as possible. I will say that. Again, UMass Lowell, we're known for our acronyms. Like Steph said, we're meeting in the Etiquette building because we don't want to write out Emerging Technology and Innovation Center. But sometimes when it's new, you have to put the whole thing out there. But, you know, as you get used to the acronyms and have a good back and forth relationship with the person or persons that you're emailing with, acronyms will be fine because we all know what we're talking about. And then when you're sending out large volumes, attachments, and spreadsheets and stuff like that, try to compress them as much as possible, especially like if you're working on a huge assignment or group project and you need to send it into the professor. Sometimes if it's too large, it can take up a lot of space. So when you're able to compress attachments and send them along with the email, try and do that.
Thanks, Francine. Sarah is here, I believe. So I am going to backtrack a little bit and jump over to the library services. Sarah, are you here?
I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Hi, Sarah. Yes, nice to see you.
Have to turn off mute and turn on the microphone.
No problem. Thanks.
Am I able to take down the PowerPoint and put up my screen?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much.
I know you have limited time, so go for it.
All right. So thank you for letting me come and talk to you all today. I'm going to be rather brief because I only have a few things and a few minutes, but I want to address some of the things I heard. Of course, my computer is slow. Some of the things that we talked about just a little while ago about plagiarism and how the library can help and how the library shouldn't be the one helping you, but also where you're going to find your resources and take any brief questions that I can. So the library webpage, which I will make sure is in the chat before I leave, is always available to you no matter where you are in the world, but you only have access off campus as long as you're still enrolled in classes. So if you stop taking classes, you lose access to our articles, our databases, and our ebooks. When you're on the web page, we try to make this as simple as possible. This first box here allows you to search different resources. So Article Quick Search is a database of articles. Think of it as a search engine of articles. These will be magazine articles, newspaper articles, and peer-reviewed articles. And peer-reviewed articles are what your professors are going to increasingly expect you to use. They are written by subject experts and edited by subject experts. So it's their peers reviewing them and making sure that this is the best article it can be, that the research is sound, that there is no conflict of interest. When you hear about research happening in the news, it's because it's one of these articles being published. So you're going to want to be able to get access to them. And searching Article Quick Search gives you access to those. I'm going to do a quick one here just because I want to show you something that our search engine makes available to you. So when you find an article that you like, you'll see you'll have the PDF full text in many cases. Some will be ebooks. You can see here this one says ebook. but you can control on the left-hand side what you're going to see in your results. So you'll see now Academic Journal and Full Text Finder will see if we have access to it anywhere in the world. And if not, you can do interlibrary loan for the article if you really need it, or you'll see the options for full text. But regardless of the full text or not, if you want to use the article, you have to cite it. Even if you paraphrase, you have to give that citation. And we talked briefly about those, how to do it at the end of your paragraph or your sentence, but you still have to do it at the end of your paper in a reference list. So over here on the right side of your screen, you'll see an option for permalink. If you have problems, you want to send the permalink to somebody, but cite will pop up a citation in the major citation styles. Now, there are a few odd cases here and there where a professor might want a different style, but primarily on campus, we use MLA or APA or sometimes Chicago. I think engineering has a few that they play with, but you can see here, here's APA. And then if you scroll down, there's MLA. Now, these are not perfect. They still need to be fixed. Sometimes they do little things that are wrong, and it's a simple case of somebody looking it over. And in those cases, when you need help with those citations, we suggest you go to the Writing Center. They can help you fix those citations. The library, we're such a tiny staff. You don't want to wait for us to get around to you. You want attention when you can get it. And the Writing Center is the ones who can help you with the writing side of things. So our databases will give you this to copy and paste on your papers, but you need to make sure that either you know if it's correct or not, or somebody can advise you on what might need to be adjusted. Other things, the catalog will allow you to search for our ebooks and our print books. We have 600,000 ebooks available to you. So you're going to be able to find what you want. With databases, when article quick search feels too overwhelming, you can go and look for those in your class subject. So if you're taking engineering, go to the engineering collection, and it will show you just the databases that help with engineering articles. These will be limited to those that include engineering, and it might be a very different list than, say, going into nursing, which has different ones set up.
Sarah, is that where students would find textbooks?
Textbooks would be our catalog, and textbooks are tricky. We don't always have your textbook available for you. If it is, your professor has probably put it up in Blackboard, but unless they tell you the library has your textbook, I wouldn't assume. You can search for it in the catalog, but you're going to have a hard time getting a free copy because it's a textbook. It's going to be in high demand.
Okay, thank you. I know that question comes up a lot.
It comes up. I'm sure everybody's got that question in their back of their head because you want to save money, and we don't blame you.
Mhm.
More and more professors are adopting library options for these ebook textbooks, but it's not 100%. So talk to your professor. Let them know we will help them if you get a little pushback. The last thing I want to show you is our Ask a Librarian system. Again, we're a tiny staff, but we are here to help. And a lot of the times, all you need to do is send us an email, or the question you want has already been asked and answered. So what we do is we create an FAQ. Usually we put a featured list, the most popular common questions, like textbooks will be up there next week when classes start. But these are the ones that people click on most often. So the link for off-campus use, don't worry about it. It'll prompt you to log in and authenticate the second time when you log in. But theses and dissertations, using EndNote, setting up with your UMS number. What do you do when you're a guest? Reserving study rooms, things like this are popping up. But all you need to do is search for your question, and it will let you know if there's a response to it. And if not, it'll prompt you to email us, and we will directly answer your request. All right. That's what I have to share on the screen. So I'm just trying to look into, I see the textbooks. Grammarly is amazing, yes, but the library does not offer it to you. I would suggest downloading the free version, and the campus does have it set up so it will sync with Microsoft Word. But what other questions do you have? There are some job opportunities, but we're primarily focused on hiring work study students for undergraduates. So if you were awarded work study money, we do have jobs available. I do know that we might need some grad students to do some work. And I know that for international students, we do try to make you a priority for graduate student jobs. We do have a little money for it, but I'm not entirely positive. Right now, the hours are on our webpage. They will be, and I'm going to check very briefly while we talk. The hours for the first week, so next week, our hours are going to be 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. But after that, we are 7 a.m. till midnight on most days, except Fridays when we close at 7 p.m., Saturdays 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday 12:30 p.m. till midnight. You want to go to the work study office and find out how to apply for jobs. I think it's through JobHawk, and you can search for the library that you want. O'Leary, if you're on South Campus, if all your classes are on South Campus, work in O'Leary. It'll make your life easier. If all your classes are on North Campus, work in Leiden. It'll make your life easier. You don't want to have to travel between campuses and have no time to breathe. We've learned that after a year and a half indoors. We want to have time to relax. Okay, I have to get going because I have another meeting. It's a very busy week here in the library, but I look forward to seeing you all on campus, and always go to Ask a Librarian if you have questions and send us an email. We are happy to help you, and questions will come up on the fly. And thank you, Francine, for letting me come and talk to you guys, and have a great semester.
Thanks, Sarah. So great to see you.
Thank you, Sarah. All right.
And I'm going to paste the library's webpage link in the chat box.
I think we already got it, but it couldn't hurt to do it again. There we go. Thank you. All right. Great questions too, everybody. Thank you. I'm going to start this presentation up again. So again, on the left-hand side, O'Leary Library is on South Campus. That's what it looks like. And then the right-hand side, Leiden Library is on North Campus. Okay, so these kind of give you an idea of what they look like. Hopefully, we'd love to see you working there someday. All right, just gonna go through these one more time here, and I'm going to pass it back to Francine to wrap up email etiquette.
Awesome. Thanks again, Ali. So yes, use your UMass Lowell email address. Give professors proper time to respond. And we put in there in business days. So if you send a professor an email on Friday afternoon, please don't expect that they're going to reply to you on Saturday. Understand that, you know, they take their weekends off too. So they may not get the message until Monday when they return to the office, and then give them time to be able to respond. Again, use that very descriptive subject line. Greet the person, hello, Professor, you know, McVicker, or Dr. McVicker. Identify yourself, give your name, indicate what class you're contacting them about. Make it more formal rather than informal, especially if you're, you know, requesting information or need more, or need assistance. And then make sure to sign off with a thank you or sincerely type of, so they know that it's being ending, and how, and that you are going to be waiting for a response. So here's where we all get to participate. Everyone's been talking at you guys. you folks, so now we want some interaction here. I want you to take a look at this email, and based off of what we just went over about email etiquette, either you can unmute yourself and point out some things that you think don't look quite right here, or you can even drop it into the chat. So the email says, yeah. Oh, good. We have some stuff coming in from chat, and it looks like someone has raised their hand. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
The subject line shouldn't just be a hey.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I can't even keep up with the with the chats. Ali, would you mind reading out some of the things that's coming through the chat? Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, sender is using a personal email. The subject is way too vague. Coming from personal email, caps are not placed properly. Grammar, subject line, not descriptive. Emails written like a text. That happens a lot.
Yes.
Informal short forms are used, way too informal. Yep. Subject line, need to about email. The email is not from the school email. It's informal. Yeah, for sure. We have someone else raise their hand. I don't know if it was already mentioned, but feel free to jump up if you want to.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh yeah.
Looks like a chat message. Yes, exactly.
Sure.
Exactly. Perfect. You all got it. That's exactly. Yeah, you pointed out just about everything that just went haywires in this particular email. So if you want to go over to the next one. Awesome. All right, now here's a sample of an email. And just like you did before, throw in the chat, what did they do right in this email? Let's see if she captured everything that we talked about. Same thing, throw it in chat or unmute yourself. Yes, formally address it. Absolutely. Refer to their class. Yes, I love that. Oh, woo, now they're coming in.
Subject gives clarity, precise subject line, properly signed. They introduce themselves. Professional, address them by their name. Yes. Appropriate subject, good greeting. Yep. Clear body and good clothes. Oh, you guys will be fine. You know it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Clearly written, yes.
Yes, clearly written. Totally understand. Yep. Instead of just writing, please, I need help.
Yeah, right. As a text. Proper, but gets to the point. Yes, perfect. Awesome.
And one other thing that I didn't put in this email that you all could do as well is, I loved how Chantel Jones put her name, political science, put her major, and what class year she is. You could also, if you didn't want to put your class year, you can use your student ID number as well. Professors are able to pull up your information either through your name or very quickly through your student ID number. So you can always sign off that way too, if you didn't want to use your class year using your student ID. Thank you all so very much. I agree with Ali. You got this. You know exactly what to do when it comes to sending out emails.
Awesome. What to do and what not to do. Thank you, Dr. Costin. It's fun to call each other that. So for those of you who are taking online classes, virtual classes, hybrid, any portion of your class that would be online, these are just a couple quick things to keep in mind. For Zoom, that's going to be mostly where your classes would be online. There's also an option on Blackboard as well to tune in online. But again, these are just some tips. So avoid embarrassing mistakes. Pay attention to your video. your microphone, make sure that you're muted or if your video is off if you're not in a proper place to share your screen. And always make sure that the chat rooms are appropriate, right? Some students might go off the rails and start talking about something else, but we want to make sure that we stay on track. We're talking about the material. And if you see any, unprofessional behavior, we'll talk about that in a minute. That's important to talk about too. Designate your workspace. Ensure that your workspace is quiet, clean, and it has an appropriate background. UMass Lowell does have quite a few virtual backgrounds on our website that you can download. Those can be kind of fun to use. So if you need that, you can have that. Set up your tech. Make sure you're good to go before class. Make sure your Wi-Fi is working. Test your audio and video. Get familiar with the software before entering the meeting. We know the first week of classes is going to be a little hectic with some in person, some online, but you're on Zoom already. You kind of know how this works. You can do this. Just make sure that you have the Wi-Fi. Really, that's the major piece. Communicate with the host, right? This makes it so much more interactive and so much more fun when you raise your hand, when you respond. Like that chat feature was so great. We got to hear from you all, and you can unmute yourself. Anything you need to do. It just makes it so much more interactive. For us, it's like talking to black screens, and we don't know your face, we don't know your voice, we don't know anything. So kind of put yourself in the professor's shoes at that point. So try to be a little bit more interactive if you can. And then be professional, be on time. We cannot stress that enough, even online. It is a little bit easier to just kind of jump on the meeting wherever you are, but we recommend at least 5 minutes, especially online, maybe 5 to 10 minutes in person that we'll talk about in a second, but just be sure to be online and dress appropriately. If you have a nice, shirt or something on the top, you can wear pajama pants on the bottom if you really want to, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm wearing pajama pants right now, but if you have a nice shirt up at the top, to make sure that you're kind of put together but comfortable. So right, sit tall, look directly into the camera when you're using your video. So just some things to keep in mind, and do make sure that everyone's polite to each other on the chat. Again, come to class early, 5-10 minutes, dress as if you were going to class. When using the chat, be professional, be kind to each other, be respectful, respond to each other. That's a really great way to interact as much as we can. Patience is key, right? Technology issues happen. If you can't get on the Wi-Fi 4 minutes before class and you're having problems, just let the professor know. Just let them know. That would make a huge difference. Mute your mic when you're not speaking. If you're comfortable, share your video when you're speaking. The professors will definitely like that. And I'll pass it over to Dr. Costin for some classroom etiquette in person.
Awesome. Thank you. See, a lot of the stuff that Ali talked about for, etiquette over Zoom or online, it's the same stuff that we are going to do when we're in person as well. And we all have to get used to being back in person too. So it doesn't hurt to look at those same tips, whether you're online, and use those same tips, whether you're online or you're in person. We're always going to be respectful. We're always going to not talk when others are presenting or talking or asking or answering questions. We want to show up a little bit early to class, 5 to 10 minutes early to class, because we don't want to walk in person classes and we don't want to come in late and have everyone turn around and look at us, right? So the same stuff that she mentioned for those tips for online or Zoom classes is the same things that we're going to do in person. Some other things that, because we are in the pandemic, we're still in the pandemic era, additional classroom etiquette things that I just wanted to bring forward and highlight. The university does have a mask mandate, so everyone, faculty, staff, students, visitors, everyone is going to be required to wear a face covering when you are inside buildings, inside your classrooms. It's expected that we will that we will all abide by those the rules, but we understand that you're in your car and you hop out of the car and you run to class and realize, oh, I don't have my mask, I left it in the car or something like that. The professor may most likely ask that you return to your car or return to your dorm or return to, or even go to certain places around campus. They will have disposable masks that folks will be able to pick up if you forget yours, okay? So just be prepared that if you do walk into a classroom and you don't have any face covering on, you may be asked to go and retrieve one. If you are experiencing any type of symptoms, especially those type of symptoms that are related to COVID-19, we're being asked that you not come to class, that you seek out attention, take care of yourself. I mean, self-care, make sure that you are okay. Again, we just want to make sure that we ourselves are taking care of ourselves and also being able to ensure the care and health safety of those around us. Know that our classrooms are being cleaned every morning. Each time classes are in session, our facilities folks are out doing that cleaning each and every time. Again, this is just ensuring the health and well-being of everyone on campus. And I put in there a few links, and we'll share all of these with you all, that gives much more information and much more details of all of these things that I just spoke about. Oh, cool. So next up is syllabus. Ali has spoke a little bit earlier in talking about the syllabus. What is a syllabus? If you haven't had one before, your first time entering into the college setting, you will receive this syllabus, which is almost like the classroom or course agreement between you and your professor. And it has a lot of information on this syllabus. So this is a syllabus that I actually got from one of our professors here in our criminal justice department. And she shared, and this syllabus is actually what she used last year during the when everything was remote and all of our classes is online. So happy this year, 95% of our classes are going to be in person, but a lot of the same stuff that's on this syllabus, you will find similarly, whether it's an in-person class or a virtual online class. So ideally it'll have up there, the name, the professor's name, when the class meets, where the class meets, the actual class location. And like I said, this one happened to be virtual, so she even put her virtual location, the professor's name, where her office and office hours are, how you can get in contact with her, and her preferred method of contact. One thing you'll probably notice this year, and I think the professors are doing this both ways, many professors are going to be doing this both ways, because last year, like I said, we were completely remote. Professors did their office hours completely virtual as well. You may see a combination this year of professors having in-person office hours at the same time doing virtual office hours too, especially for our students who are commuters and don't live on campus, and it might be a little bit more difficult for them to get back on campus during those office hours. Textbooks information is listed there, and then it starts going into what's required in this course. What makes up my course grade? In this particular course, tests make up 56% of the course grades. Doing chapter summaries or paper, a PowerPoint presentation, discussion, and using the discussion boards. And remember, Ali also talked about class participation. You see that is worth 16% of your grade. So all we say to students, do not leave free points on the table, right? 16 points you can earn just for participating, asking questions, being a part of discussions and stuff like that. Those are like the easy points. And I always say to my students, don't leave those points on the table, because 16 points is a large amount that can contribute to your grade. That's the difference of a C+ to an A, right? So let's not miss those points. So that just gives you an idea of what you can find on this syllabus, and what you could and I don't know any professor that does not give out a syllabus. So if you find one, I'm going to tell you, you'll be hard pressed to find a professor that doesn't give a syllabus. But prove me wrong if you do run into one.
Awesome. Thanks, Francine. Okay, so it's already 10:45. Any questions, put them all in the chat. We have a couple more quick things to talk about. So in terms of help, right, if you need help with understanding plagiarism a little bit more, how to communicate with professors, come talk to us. We are on the 3rd floor of University Crossing. We've got the whole wing now, so you can't miss us. We are here. You can email any of us directly asking for an appointment, or if a phone call or a Zoom call, wherever you are on campus, we can chat with you. I put the link here for the UMass Lowell libraries again in the Ask the Librarian link. It's very, very useful. You should try to explore that if you can before classes start. It's a good tool to know. And then Centers for Learning is also here as well. They have different locations on different campuses. So wherever you are, you can go and ask. If you need writing help, the Writing Center is connected with them as well. So if you want to go ahead and use them, we highly recommend it, especially if you are an international student and the whole US system is new to you. We can help with that as well, right? Like I said, we've all been students. We understand the difficulties of making sure you don't plagiarize. If you even want to, I tell some of my students, like, send me your work. I'm happy to look it over, whatever you need. We're here for you. And so don't hesitate to reach out. So one more quick thing. What is OMA? In case you all forget, we are the Office of Multicultural Affairs, right? We serve all our students of color, our international students, our LGBTQ plus students, and our disability services students, and many, many others. So whether you are domestic, international, transfer, we serve you. We offer support, advocacy, diversity trainings for both staff, students, faculty, and much, much more for our campus. We advise over 40 cultural and spiritual clubs. So if you're looking for more of a community with students of similar interests or backgrounds, let us know. We can get you in touch with our clubs. We have lots and lots of students that are involved and need more student leaders to help with those clubs. So definitely looking for more students to be involved. Some of the programs that we do that we would love to see you at, either virtually or in person this semester and the spring semester, we do monthly Heritage Month events. We do weekly summer events in the summer, like kayaking, hiking, things like that. We do a diversity peer educator program. We celebrate trans awareness. We do a drag show with our LGBTQ plus resource center that Amy Liss oversees, as well as a couple of other students. We do an Invisible Identity series. We celebrate MLK Week, Martin Luther King Week. We do International Education Week in November. We have our Pair Up program. Many of you might be familiar with this, where we pair international students with domestic students. And we have Culture Shock Talks and English Conversation workshops on Fridays with myself, with anyone who's invited. Mostly it's for international students, but it's for anyone. So if you have any further questions on that, do let us know. And I think that is the end of our presentation. So I see some things in the chat here. Yes, we do have in-person pieces of the orientation today. So if you have any further questions about the specifics, Stephanie Garcia is here and she's overseeing the in-person So if you have any more questions, Clara, about that specifically, let us know. We will be sending out a, this session is actually being recorded, and we'll also send out the PowerPoint by the end of the week to you, or maybe early next week. So yes, you will get this information. So Steph, if you just want to give a quick reminder about the tours again this afternoon, that'd be great.
Yeah, well, I had one question too, maybe for Francine, about sometimes professors put their cell phone numbers in a syllabus. What should we do about that?
If a professor puts their cell phone number in the syllabus, that means that it's okay to contact them.
For sure.
Because usually they would just use their office number. But if they are sharing their cell phone number, that means that it's okay.
Thank you. I think we have a question here about textbooks.
Yep, so maybe we should put the library link in here one more time, Steph, linking the library. So you can get physical textbooks. They're just kind of hard to find because a lot of students want the physical ones from the library or from the Riverhawk shop, which is where you get all the UMass Lowell swag on the bottom floor of that. You can absolutely order them online. That's a good place to go. We also have an interlibrary loan service that is on the library website that if we don't have it at UMass Lowell, there are many, many other libraries we're connected to that they can order the book for you and you can have it here. A lot of books are online these days, like, digital books. So the professors might use that too. So you really just kind of have to wait and see what the professor is going to be assigning you. First day of class, you'll find all of that out.
Yep. There's a question in there. Will we go into the building on the tours this time? Are you able to go in?
Yeah, so the tours are basically outside into each, looking at each building, but we really encourage you to take your schedule and go on a walk for yourself to see what your route would be between different classes, what your route would be between your parking or to your residence hall. To build that for yourself to really set you up for success come the first week of classes. But still come for a tour today, come for in-person activities. We'd love to connect with you some more and you can see different parts of campus.
Awesome. There's also the virtual campus tour. I can put the link in there. We did it yesterday during the lunch hour, but that was really useful. You really get to see campus virtually. So if you're not here yet and you cannot be a part of the in-person tours, that's a really good tool to use. So I can put that in the chat for people. Any other questions? Comments, concerns? Steph, I don't know if you want to answer that question in the chat. I believe the answer is yes.
Yeah.
For part
So
of it.
there's also going on today is the new graduate student orientation. Different from our program that we have here going on. It is put on by the graduate studies department and that division. And that one's an in-person opportunity in University Crossing. Reach out to me for that information and you'd have to email the person for that because there's food opportunities and space. So still making sure that they have the space available to add you into that opportunity.
Right. Any other questions? We're here. If not, then go ahead and take a 5-minute break and we will see you at 11.